Let's tell you about the ban on XL bully dogs in England and Wales because it comes into effect any moment.
Yeah, that's right. From Sunday, it will be illegal to sell or breed an American XL bully. Any seen in public must have a lead and a muzzle. The new laws have been introduced after a series of deadly attacks involving the breed.
Well, joining us now is Sophie Coulthard and her dog Billy. Sophie thinks she's being targeted for being the owner of an XL bully. And we're joined by dog trainer and host of Dogs Behaving Very Badly, Graeme Hall. Thank you both for joining us. Graeme, before we talk to Sophie and Billy, just explain to us what an XL bully is. As in, it's my understanding is a relatively new breed. Many people saying it's been bred specifically for its muscles, its strength, and its ability to fight. Is that fair?
It is and it isn't. So it's a really good question. What is an XL bully? I don't think the government entirely know. They've described it in a very blunt way, which could encapsulate all sorts of dogs, it's got to be said. Some people, no doubt, have been breeding dogs to be a status dog, to be perhaps, have tendencies to being aggressive, and they've been bought by the wrong kind of people. However, and it's a big however this, not all XL bullies are like that. I think we're about to probably hear that from your guest. There are lots of lovely dogs out there. So this ban, a lot of people think, is very unfair.
Well, Sophie, all the research I've done into XL bullies says that they're affectionate, they're loyal, they're apparently good with children when they're properly socialised, and they're not inherently aggressive. But then the statistics suggest that they are the most dangerous dog of the moment.
Well, we are questioning some of the statistics that are in the media, because I think you can look at a dog, a big sort of bull breed dog, and instantly label it as an XL bully, particularly if you've seen a lot about the breed in the media. But when I did my research on the breed, everything that you've described is why I got this dog. I was looking for something with a bit of size that could handle long hikes and outdoors lifestyle, but also a dog that was affectionate. And I grew up with bull breeds, so my heart is with them, and he's met everything that I wanted in a dog. He's never showed any aggression towards any other animal or human, and I think the same can be said for the vast majority of these dogs that are pets in people's homes.
Oh, I'm glad we've taken the screen furniture off so we can have a proper look at Billy. And he is a gorgeous looking boy, but of course, if he was aggressive and he came thundering towards you, his size, his muscles, you would be very frightened, and he obviously could do a lot of damage if he was in the wrong hands. And we've seen, Sophie, all the social media of people training their dogs to be aggressive. And these dogs, as JJ was saying, last year being responsible for 7 out of the 10 fatalities that were caused by dog attacks. So if banning the breed isn't the answer, what is the answer? Might it be making dog owners get a licence, for instance, like you had to in the old days?
Absolutely. And I'm part of a campaign group called Don't Ban Me, License Me. And that's exactly what we're asking for. When you look at other countries that have done away with banning breed after breed after breed, because let's face it, unscrupulous breeders and owners who don't care about these dogs will simply move on to another, potentially bigger and more powerful animal. So we are saying that dogs should be licensed, and there is a level of responsibility that comes with having a large dog. I knew that when I got him, and I was prepared to put in the work in terms of the training required. At the moment, I think he'd rather have his breakfast than sit here, unfortunately. But I was aware of the responsibility, and I would never let my dog off lead to go and charge up to somebody else, despite the fact that he's friendly. I think you always have to be conscious that some people are scared of dogs, whether that's big dogs, small dogs, any dog. And unfortunately, in this country, it's far too easy to get hold of any dog of any size, and there's no responsibility to do training whatsoever. So why aren't we looking at countries who are doing things differently and seeing success?
So, Graeme, Sophie's obviously a very responsible owner, but we do see mostly young men walking around the streets with these dogs almost like they're weapons. And they are intimidating, they are scary, and I can see them being aggressive. But is the ban going to work? Because surely those kind of people are just going to keep on breeding these dogs regardless. The police cannot go around the streets trying to identify if a dog is an XL bully or not.
Well, no, yeah, I mean, that's a very good point you raised there. Police officers aren't experts on dog breeds generally, so it makes life difficult for them. Listen, when this first came in, it was first mooted. I said, look, I don't think I've necessarily got the answer. I don't think any single person has, but Rishi Sunak, he thought he had the answer and he was going to fix it by Christmas. Oh, that's it, we'll just ban them. Well, to your point, they banned them before, didn't they? There are a series of dogs on the banned breeds list from when the Dangerous Dogs Act was first brought in. Pit Bull Terrier, Japanese Tosa, all of those. Now, look, you won't find many of those around the streets anymore, but the very fact that they've had to bring in another breed and ban it. I mean, it's a very blunt instrument, this. It proves that banning a breed doesn't work because, exactly right, people who are wrong thinking, and you will see the clip there right now, people who are acting like that in public will simply get another breed. So it's really unfair on, I'm going to say, the majority of XL bully owners who are responsible.
And of course, Graeme, we know that there will be XL bullies that will be put to sleep, that will die as a result of this legislation, because, you know, I was just looking this morning, any XL bullies that are currently in dogs' homes, like Batty Dogs Home or wherever, looking to be rehomed, they can't be rehomed. So they may well end up being euthanized. Oh, it look like we might have lost Sophie there. So they may well be euthanized. So what about Sophie's idea, Graeme, about licensing dog owners? Because again, there's an argument that if you're a bad dog owner, you're just not going to bother applying for a license. You're going to buy a dog, you know, down an alleyway, not from a proper breeder, and you're not going to fill in any of the forms or get the license anyway.
Yeah. And that's a great argument. It's an argument I've actually used in the past, but I think things change. And I think, you know, as dog professionals, we have to admit that there is a problem with a minority of XL bully owners and other breed owners, I should say, who've got them for the wrong reasons. Now, let me give you an analogy. What about motorbikes? Now, I've got a bike license. I can ride the most powerful motorbikes. But these days, you can't just jump on a bike without a license. You get a license for a lower powered bike, and then you have to requalify in order to ride the most powerful bikes. Why would we not have a system like that? So the argument is, oh, well, people won't bother getting licenses. Well, you could say, well, look, you know, people will jump on a motorbike and ride one without a license. Well, that's true. They'll ride a bike without insurance as well. But where would we be if we didn't have any rules? And that's where we are right now with powerful dogs. Yeah. And I speak, by the way, as a former Rottweiler owner. Used to have 2 male Rotties, and they were then the kind of devil dog in the press. So I really understand everybody's plight.
I really remember those days, Graeme, where Rottweilers were the dog that everybody was scared of, and people would say if a Rottweiler was coming to get you, was it about to attack, it was the only dog that wouldn't give you any sort of warning by raising its hackles. And I just wonder, Graeme, what advice you have for people, because people are scared of these dogs for good reason. And Sophie was saying, when people are scared of dogs, they very often scream and they run, and that can antagonise the dog to think to as an invitation to be chased. And I just wonder, Graeme, if you do see one of these dogs that's not on a lead or perhaps doesn't look like it's under control, what should you do?
Yeah, well, first of all, let's just say any dog, not just XL bullies on that. My best advice, and I've always, when I've asked this question, I always say it's a bit like asking a policeman what to do when somebody runs at you with a knife, you know. There's no single answer that's going to save you. However, not running, not screaming is your best chance. And I realise this is counterintuitive, but do your best to stay still and remain calm until hopefully the owner comes and rescues you. Not a nice position to be in, but that's your best chance.
Graeme, we've had lots of messages in about this, but one of our viewers says, would it not be safer just to not have big dogs, full stop? I mean, if you see a Chihuahua, Chihuahuas are going to bark and scream at you, but you're not in danger of being mauled to death by a Chihuahua or a Jack Russell.
Ah, well, you say that. So let's take a Jack Russell as an example. Without being too graphic, you don't want to imagine what a Jack Russell could do to a rabbit. That's what they were bred for. Now, if we were talking about a baby in a house, well, that doesn't really bear thinking about, does it? So shall we ban those as well? Tell you what, let's ban all dogs. Of course, I'm being provocative on purpose. We might as well say the roads would be much safer if we banned all forms of motor transport. Well, that's incontrovertibly true, isn't it? but we've got to find a way which is the right balance, so that, you know, dogs do a lot of good for a lot of people, including, I might say, XL bullies. Billy looks like a perfect example of a dog that you'd love to be around, and they give an awful lot back. So banning all big dogs, where do you stop? Ban all dogs, where do you know, it's a silly argument, that.
Sophie, I'd love to ask you what it's been like for you as an XL bully owner, whilst XL bullies have been in the press so much. I mean, I was out walking my dog the other day and I came across a dog, you know, as you always do, dog owner to dog owner, chatting away. What breed is your dog? Tibetan Terrier. What's yours? XL bully. And for even as a total dog lover, I did flinch a bit when he told me it was an XL bully. And then afterwards, I thought, how awful to, you know, every time you meet somebody in the park, you get that reaction from people. And I just wondered what it's been like for you.
I would say that the majority of the interactions that I have with people are positive. So we took Billy out to a pub last weekend and we had lunch, me and my partner, and I put a mat down for him to lay down beside us. And we had people leaving their tables to come over and say hello and say, what a beautiful dog, look how well behaved he is. And I think the majority of people, particularly if they're dog people, they understand, because if you ask any dog owner, oh, that's the picture there actually of us in the pub. If you ask any dog owner, have you had an altercation or have you had a bad incident with another dog, you will get a variety of different breeds mentioned. There will always be irresponsible owners unless we hold people to account. And I think that it's such a shame that bull breeds in general, they're so affectionate, they're so lovely. They really, I mean, Billy absolutely adores people, the postman, everyone. And it's a shame that people will feel scared, you know, although I don't want people just approaching him willy-nilly, you know, that's not good generally either, because, you know, you can catch dogs off guard, etc. You know, it's about being responsible, and it's about educating yourself about how to be around dogs.
And Sophie, when these new rules come in, just remind us, Billy will have to be muzzled and on a lead when you go out in future. Is that the case?
Yes, and there's other restrictions as well. I mean, him being on a lead is not such a problem for us. He's still quite a young dog, so I don't generally let him off the lead because I don't trust his recall as being 100%. So again, that's a responsibility that I take to keep him on a lead. But in terms of the muzzle, you know, my lifestyle, me and my partner, we like to drive, you know, to Wales on a long car journey, go and stay in a accommodation somewhere, go for long walks. All of this, he would have to be muzzled. So it's not fair on his welfare for him to be muzzled for long periods of time. So it's really, really going to have an impact on the way we live our life.